Wilson back deep for the Packers. 86 degrees at game time. It's a warm one. The Packers have worked out indoors much of the week, trying to simulate the same type of heat. I don't think they could have done it anywhere in Green Bay. It's a warm one out here this afternoon.
Yeah, but it's a dry heat, Brad. That's the good news.
Jaeger's kick. And Wilson, it'll be taken by the up-man Workman, and he is swarmed under immediately inside the 20-yard line. So Don Majkowski, not the kind of numbers he had in '89, but he has put back-to-back excellent performances together and almost pulled out a win over the world champion 49ers last week. Up front for the Packers, in front of Majkowski, Weingrad, Ard, Campen, Euchre, Mandarich, and Ed West is the tight end. We talked about Sterling Sharp. He's teamed with Perry Kemp, and the backfield is Woodside and Haddix.
The real key today for the Packers is how do they meet the challenge of the rush of the Raider defense with those two offensive tackles on that offensive line.
From the 18-yard line, Packers first down on their first offensive play of the afternoon. A little bit of a hole inside. Haddix gets out across the 20-yard line against a Raider defense that is the Raider defense of old, or very close to it. Howie Long, Bob Golick, Scott Davis, and Greg Townsend. That's an excellent front four. Jerry Robinson, the veteran, having a great year. Ricky Ellison, who came over from the 49ers, and Tom Benson, the linebackers. And the secondary, McDaniel, Washington, Harden, and the hitman, Eddie Anderson. Second down and 7, Green Bay. They show a 3 wide receiver set, and West, the tight end, in motion. Hit as he throws is Majkowski, and it's incomplete, intended for Sterling Sharp.
When we talked to Don Majkowski the other day, he said, you know, one of the things I want to do is if I can get some kind of time, a couple of seconds there just to set up and get comfortable, then I'm going to be okay. We said earlier in the game that Green Bay has to get the ball in the hands of Sterling Sharp. You see the nice tight coverage there by Washington. Watch him reach in right there and just slap the ball away. He's on him like sweat.
Third and long. Sterling Sharp, many feel maybe the second best receiver in football. And I think most people would agree Jerry Rice is number 1. Majkowski works from the gun. Here comes the rush. Steps up and got rid of it. Incomplete. And the pressure already coming from the Raider defense. Herman Fontenot, the intended receiver, but Howie Long and company close to Majkowski.
Right. What this defense does of the Raiders is they get up in your face on your receivers. Man to man, they're going to bump you and try to slow you up coming off the line, and they got tremendous pressure upfield. It's a very penetrating defense. Even on the run plays, you'll see them come across the line of scrimmage and get a lot of pressure on the quarterback.
So nothing doing for the Packer offense, and Bracken will have to kick it away. And a Heisman Trophy winner named Tim Brown awaits back inside his own 40. Brown should have a chance at this one. From the 33. Got about 10 yards on the return, and the Raiders will be in excellent shape field position-wise after an 11-yard return of a 47-yard punt. Charles Wilson made the stop on the special teams. Jay Schrader, who is for Schrader. Los Angeles first down at its own 44-yard line. Schrader might want it all on the first play. And going deep. Almost intercepted, and a flag goes down. Jerry Holmes on Willie Gault.
And with a call maybe as Willie reaching back up inside, it looked like Jerry Holmes had pretty good position on the play. One of the things that's helped Jay Schrader so far this season, Brad, is the protection that he's got from his offensive line. I asked him the other day, I said, do you have time to take a manicure back? He says, yeah, and probably get a permanent set as well. Now, downfield, the question here is, did Willie Gault try to reach back in and get in the way of Jerry Holmes?
Interference, number 44 on the defense, first down.
What happened was Jerry was pushing Willie down with that outside arm. And that's how come he got the call made on him.
Had the pass not been underthrown, two things could have happened. Gault would have had a touchdown, or Schrader would have overthrown him. As it is, the underthrow helps the interference call, and it's first and goal at the 8-yard line for the Raiders. Smith and Allen, and a dual set behind Schrader. This is Smith, the fullback, to the 5. Defensively, Bob Nelson and Tim Harris are there for the Packers. Nelson, I just mentioned on the nose. Matt Brock and Brown, the defensive ends, in the 34. Good set of linebackers. Scott Stephen Noble, Holland, and Tim Harrison, all pro a year ago. And the secondary, Lee and Holmes on the corners, Murphy and Cecil are the safeties.
The linebackers and the two-gappers.
Harris can take up about 3 gaps all by himself. 2nd and goal at the Green Bay 5. Marcus Allen this time. Inside, touchdown. The long pass interference call sets up the Raiders close, and Marcus Allen does the rest. Shares time in that backfield with Bo Jackson, but when he's in there, he can still get the job done. Jeff Gossett to hold, Jeff Jaeger to kick. Extra point up and good. And just 2 minutes into the ball game, the Raiders on top 7-0.
One of the things that's really helped the Raiders this year is the blocking of the fullback, Steve Smith. Watch him just pound the ball up, just pound the area up in there for Marcus Allen. Right there, you see number 35 over on the right side of your screen. Now, watch Marcus Allen find a little crease on the backside. He's getting excellent blocking from his offensive line, and I think that's one of the things we talked about earlier, how the Raiders have gone back to just lining up, doing things very simple, lining up and blowing you off the football.
68th career rushing touchdown, is 85th overall in the silver and black. Marcus Allen, a former Heisman Trophy winner out of USC.
Now let's watch the blocking up in here as they come in and focus in, and then there's a break back of Marcus Allen, number 32. Now he's going to bend the ball back, but the key is right there where Smith throws his block right in there. Marcus says, okay, now I'm going to squeeze it back just a little bit. Gets nice blocking from the backside also.
Jaeger the kick. Deep kick to Wilson. 2 yards in, and he'll bring it out. Trying to get to the corner, and if he does, he's got room. Nice run back by the rookie, who they are trying to get in the Green Bay lineup because of the speed he just showed there. A 35-yard kickoff return.
And the thing I liked about the way he finished the runoff, you saw him get near the sideline. He didn't just try to trickle out there. He gave somebody a shot when he came down.
So that drops the Chiefs another game off the pace. Raiders won't find that out till later, you can bet. Mikowski on first down. Got it to Sterling Sharp. First down and then some, as he's knocked out of bounds at the 46-yard line by Terry McDaniel.
Tom Benson was working underneath against Sterling Sharp, and I'm sure if Mikowski can get that kind of matchup all day, he'll take it.
Benson, the linebacker, with speed, but nobody's going to stay with Sterling Sharp if you're a linebacker. New Orleans throttled Tampa Bay today, and Minnesota wins their 3rd and their 2nd in a row.
Phoenix just got spanked by Buffalo.
And Miami continues to lead the way along with Buffalo in that AFC East. So the Packers with their best field position of the day. First down at their own 46. Harris in motion. Flags go down as Woodside, the tailback, got back near the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Jerry Robinson in on the tackle. Let's see what the penalty's about. Red Cashin, our referee.
Watch the end of this play. Now Jackie Harris is going to come in there. Number 8, he just got smoked on that play.
Scott Davis is the man that was offside.
I'm sure Jackie Harris is wondering who else was offside the way he got stung on that at the point of attack. Scott Davis played at the University of Illinois. His hair is about as long as Rapunzel's.
I think he's probably got the longest hair in the league. With the penalty, it's 1st and 5. Green Bay at the Raider 49-yard line. 3 wideout set here for Mikowski, but he'll keep it on the ground. And out near the 45 is Michael Haddix. So again, a big game. Seattle and Kansas City having bearing on the Raiders. Let's find out more from Greg Gumbel. Derek Thomas feels after the day he had to come up short to Seattle. Wow, what a finish. First down to the 40-yard line. And it's Michael Haddix in his 8th year out of Mississippi State. So Green Bay, good-looking drive is what they had to have after 3 and out on their first series.
Yeah, and something just happened on that play. I saw Billy Ard stay with his block because he was getting a real big push from the Raider defensive line. He just stayed with the block, took his man all the way across Scott Davis and just dumped him in the backfield. If you're going to be successful against the Raiders, because they penetrate so much, you just got to hook up on your man and take him out of the picture.
Packers started this drive at their own 35. They've worked it to a first down at the Raider 40. Quick snap, Majkowski with flags down, in trouble, and he goes down. It'll be the first sack of the day. Scott Davis was the first one there. Then Townsend cleaned up. And let's see, another marker down. It's going to be a motion call against the Packers. I would assume that one will be declined because it's a loss of about a yard on the play.
Illegal motion, number 67 on the offense. That penalty is declined. It'll be second down.
Billy Ard jumped early on the left side.
I would too if I had Greg Townsend over there to deal with along with Scott Davis. Now, Greg Townsend, 93, is right in the middle of your screen. Now, they're going to try to run a little hesitation up and in, and then push the thing in there. And you see right now, Davis gets in, flushes Don Majkowski out, and then Townsend comes around and makes the sack.
Packers have given up more sacks than anybody in football. That's number 32 on the season, and the 24th time that it's been Majkowski the victim. Second down, 12. Draw play inside. Haddix, a nice run, and he's going to be, I believe, in first down territory. He will. They'll spot it near the 28. That'll be good enough for a first down to pick up a 13.
It makes a lot of sense to run the draw play up in there because you figure if you're getting that big push, that's the only way you can relieve a little bit of that pressure from the rush that you're seeing from the defensive line.
That'll make them a little more hesitant about coming full blast, at least for the next couple of plays.
Somebody's going to have to sit back and spine. You get them man-to-man and they're turning their backs and not paying attention to what the running backs are doing, then you have a pretty good situation.
Majkowski will settle in with his troops, and a first down at the 28-yard line. Darrell Thompson in now, the rookie out of Minnesota, is a single setback. He gets the call, and a nice gain inside near the 24-yard line. Greg Townsend in on the stop. The Packers, of course, were 10-6 to finish last year, but as we said, they're not too far off in the win-loss column, but some of the other things have really come down.
Well, we said that Lindy Infante felt that they had to rush the ball for over 100 yards.
Darrell Thompson is one of the guys they're hanging their hat on to be the rushing game of the future for the Packers. Thompson inside to the 22, where it'll be third down and almost 4. Bob Golick and Ricky Ellison combined on the stop.
You know, it was interesting in talking to the Raider personnel. They said that one of the things that bothers them about the Packers is they don't see them enough to really get a fix on them. Al Davis told us before the games, I wish we knew more about these guys because we just don't see them enough to really get a handle on what they like to do and what kind of players they have.
4 wide receivers set. We'll probably see Majkowski in the gun here as Query and Clarence Weathers join Perry Kemp and Sterling Sharp. Third down, a long 4 for Majkowski. Has time and got it complete. Looks like it'll be a first down. Herman Fontenot out of the backfield. That is his specialty. And it looks like he got it by maybe a half yard. Torin Doran in on the stop defensively. They nip it up. 7:20 to go first quarter. The Raiders 7, the Packers nothing. Got the Packers down there in the Raiders red zone. 1st and 10. Draw play again. Haddix. Nice gain off the right side near the 12-yard line.
And did you see that block by Ed West, the tight end, 86? He just stayed with his man. If you stay with a guy on a draw play, you just follow him along. Sooner or later, you're going to get your pancake. You're going to pour a little syrup on it as well. And Big O Ed just stayed with his block and finally dumped his man down there about 5 yards downfield. Watch him over here on the left side of your screen. He's the tight end working against Greg Townsend. You see him hook up right now. Townsend's going to reach out, and when you know when your guy's reaching out, that's when you can dump him on the ground.
That was a beauty. 2nd down and 4 for the Packers. Sterling Sharp and Keith Woodside to the bottom of your screen. This time it'll be a loss on the play. Jerry Robinson in his 12th year out of UCLA, and he can still get it done.
You get the experience out there with the younger guys as well. Then you pull in all of that Raider tradition and what it's like to be out there, know that situation, and make the stop.
Started his career with the Eagles and was on the Eagles team that lost to the Raiders in the Super Bowl. 3rd and long, 8 to go out of the shotgun. 3 wideouts to the near side. Raiders think about a blitz. Mikowski in trouble. Got away from one, but not the second man. Davis with a sack. And there goes the touchdown opportunity in that drive for the Packers. They're going to have to settle for the field goal attempt.
The Raiders will try to force the play in. They're going to try to bottle it up outside and force the action back up inside, and that flushes Don Mikowski out of the position that he wants to be in his pocket. And then you get the sack.
And it's not a chip shot exactly for Chris Jackie now either with a sack. It'll be a 38-yard attempt. Jackie's kick is good. So the Packers have an impressive drive, but the sack forces them to go for the 3-pointer, and Jackie connects. 7-3, the Raiders out in front.
Brad, what you're seeing outside, they want to force the play up in here, and that takes Mikowski up in the pocket, and then you can allow the defensive tackles and linebackers to make the sack. So you see Scott Davis, 70, in the middle of your screen. He's getting double teamed, but he has the opportunity to come off, chase Mikowski down, and get the sack, all because he couldn't sit back in the pocket and be comfortable.
56-yard drive for the Packers. There's Tony Mandarich, the starting right tackle for the Packers in his 2nd year. Highly publicized, of course, after he came out of Michigan State as the number 2 overall
that
pick.
happens. Just have some patience, find the hole and go, just like we did the last time. Okay? Now you've got to be careful when we go 36 and 37.
Jackie to kick away. Ron Brown and Jamie Holland are deep. Holland takes this one 3 yards deep. And he's in trouble and goes down at the 7-yard line. Tony Bennett, rookie linebacker, down there to make the stop on the special teams along with Jackie Harris, a backup tight end. They have an offside call, though, on Green Bay. So that will negate great kick coverage. For touchdowns in his NFL career. It'll be Holland again at the 11th. Room on the sideline for Holland. He might go. This will be 89 yards if he beats the last man. Not quite. Yards for Jamie Holland. Leroy Butler, the rookie defensive back, saved the touchdown.
Returns many times are just timing. Watch, there's a nice little block up here on the right side of your screen. It's going to take place, and that really springs Holland. And now, with speed, you find a little crease in there, and you saw Butler right there, 36. Knew he was beat. He made the turn, and he's the guy that finally ends up catching Jamie Holland downfield. Jamie knows he's going to get slow walked on this play, but he just tries to get as much out of as he can and try to kick those feet up and get down to the end zone.
Who's Jackie kick to next time? I told him to keep it away from Ron Brown, and Holland takes it 86 yards.
Kick it out of bounds, let him take it on the 35.
1st and goal, Raiders. Just outside the Green Bay 2. Marcus Allen, he's got another one. Touchdown, Los Angeles. His 6th touchdown of the year, his 2nd of the day. Your basic 2-yard scoring drive.
Yeah, Marcus likes those. Those are the easy ones, you know, little plunges. You get to be about 9 or 10 years in the league, you know, you'll take the plunge.
The Raiders haven't needed many offensive snaps today for what is a 13-3 lead as the extra point is blocked. So Jaeger has one stuffed, and the Packers salvage something out of what just happened to them.
Now watch this play in here. This is
Charles Wilson and Vince Workman back deep. Another nice kick. And Wilson from 4 yards in will bring it back out. He's got a lot of speed. Flags are down as Wilson's going to have another nice return, but it might be an illegal block on the Packers. He gets it all the way back out to the 35. That'll be good for about 39 yards, but they might bring it all back. Elvis Patterson made the stop finally, and the Raiders are saying it's holding Green Bay, which it is.
Those guys are even getting good at calling penalties, huh?
Holding during the run back, number 56. It'll be first down at 10.
So again, costly penalty against the Packers.
Here's another look at the Jamie Holland return. And one of the things I wanted you to look for is look for Ron Brown, number 24. Watch his block. It really springs Jamie Holland. You see him right there in the corner of your screen. That's the key block. Now, you said, Brad, who are they going to kick it to? Well, you certainly want to kick it to Ron Brown. He's a world-class sprinter as well. Art Shell told us one of the prerequisites for being on this team, if you're in the specialty positions, is speed. And you see Jamie Holland has speed just as much as anybody else.
This Raider team's got speed to burn. We'll talk about that as we go. A lot of world-class sprinters on this club. Mikowski has barely got the handoff to Smith, and Smith makes a nice run out of it. Got about 6, maybe 7 yards. Let's get an update on the Falcons. Bears and the Falcons did a lot of talking this week in the newspapers, didn't they?
I wonder how many picks Lemuel Stinson got.
He and Andre Rison and Deion Sanders had most of the chat going on all week in the newspapers. Haddox with a big hole up the middle, and he has run well here early. He's out to the 38 and a first down, a pickup of 13. And Haddox still down.
As they picked Michael Haddox up off the ground. One of the things that the Packers were concerned about is last time Don Mikowski was out here, the smog was so heavy that he felt that it really drained his energy. And just looking at the sky today, the last couple of days, it's been very clear. Michael Haddox coming through the hole. Now watch him duck his head here as he comes up and approaches the tackler. And that's why you want to keep your neck up. If you're a young player playing the game of football, you keep your neck up and always look the block in or the tackle in or whatever, because if your head goes down, you can really snap the back of your neck.
And Eddie Anderson, the hitman, is the guy that made the stop. And Art Shell says he reminds him of a guy named Tatum who played here and played so well. Raiders, everybody up close, ready to bump and run on the top of your screen as Mikowski's in trouble. And down he goes again. Third sack already of Don Mikowski.
See, Don's going to have that problem all day because he's going to look like he's surfing back there, because every time you try to set up in that pocket, somebody's going to be going at your legs and you're going to be moving and grooving back there trying to get away from the rush. And you're never going to get the passing game comfortable. Maybe what they need to do is move to a play action set of pass plays, and that'll take a little bit of that upfield pressure off.
Mikowski told us last night we've got to do quick rhythm passing because I know I'm not going to have a lot of time. Well, they haven't been able to do that, and credit some of it to the Raider coverage in the secondary, but that front wall of Golick and Davis and Townsend and Long been active already. Second down, 14. There's the quick rhythm pass and the completion, and it's going to be a first down. Perry Kemp as he got it out near midfield.
Oh, they had a nice little rub situation going on there, a little bit of a pick.
I thought that was illegal.
Sharp. Well, they just happen to be in the same area of the field.
Okay.
And watch over here on the left side of the screen. That's where that rub is going to take place. And what happens is Sterling Sharp comes up underneath, and that really brushes off the secondary. And now Perry Kemp coming back up right under numbers, makes the reception. You can barely see him until he popped from behind the defensive backs.
You see Sterling Sharp put his hands back as if say, I was just trying to get out of the way.
Excuse me.
That's a big gainer, and the Packers are back in Raider territory. The ball just tucked on the Los Angeles side of the 50. First down, Green Bay. Darrell Thompson broke one tackle and then dives forward near the 46. A minute and 35 seconds to go in the first quarter at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, where the Raiders have capitalized on some Packer errors and a long kickoff return, a long penalty on a pass interference call, and turned them into Marcus Allen touchdowns. 13-3 where we stand right now. Tampa Bay lost, so Green Bay can make up some ground on the Bears, who are running away with the division, if they can pull off the upset here on the road. Second down along 6 for Mikowski. Again, the quick rhythm pass. Jeff Query made a nice catch. I think he's going to be a little bit short of the first down unless they give him a great spot near the 40-yard line.
Now, we're looking at the development of Tony Mandarich, and he's going to be up at the top right-hand part of your screen, number 77. And watch how he works against Howie Long. See him set short. First of all, he's going to make sure Howie doesn't take the inside on him. And then he cut him off and went back outside. And Query just made an excellent reception outside.
You said something interesting last night to Lindy Infante. This will be a good lesson learner for a guy like Mandarich working against a Howie Long.
An excellent test, because he's going to see a lot of different things up front. You know, he's going to see some games up front. He's going to get a big, strong push-up upfield as well.
Woodside, the tailback in the eye behind Haddix, who's had the big start for Green Bay. First down, Packers. Nice play fake by Majkowski, and he had his man open in the flat. It was Haddix, but he overshot him. Don Majkowski, a man they started to call Magic last year after a brilliant season that saw him back up Joe Montana in the Pro Bowl.
And, you know, when you're talking to him and looking at the numbers, he said, hey, look, you know, it's not only me. You know, when we win, the quarterbacks probably get more than they deserve. And when you lose, it's the same situation. They get more attention than they deserve. But the offensive line had some holdouts. There were holdouts all over the team, and that affects everybody as much as having Don Majkowski holding out. So it's not all his problem. It's a team problem.
Of course, Majkowski's side just before the first regular season game and then didn't start the opener. Anthony Dilweg did. Comes the pressure on a blitz. Majkowski got away from that and might keep it now with a little bit of room on the sideline. He goes inside the 35 near the 33-yard line. Jerry Robinson ran him out. Nice pickup by Majkowski on the scramble.
Did you see what Robinson did, though? He just knocked the back down and went straight after him. But Sterling Sharp's going to get a lot of attention today. And right now you see the man-to-man coverage, inside technique. They're trying to push him to the sideline to limit the areas that he can run into. And that's the guy that Majkowski really wants to find downfield.
Well, it's been a Raiders quarter here at the Coliseum. With a 13-3 lead, the Raiders again have the Packers. Actually, so did Art Shell, a couple of guys that blocked the sun on the left side of the Raiders line for so many years. So Green Bay to start the second quarter has it at the Raiders 33-yard line with a third down situation for Majkowski, and he'll work from the gun with a 4 wideout group again. Majkowski might want Fontenot, and the ball partially tipped, I think, by Townsend. Blitz coming from Aaron Wallace, too.
Well, what happened was
and we welcome those of you who have been watching the Bears and the Falcons. We welcome you to the Coliseum in Los Angeles as we are one play into the second quarter. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggets along with you. It's the Raiders in front of the Packers 13-3. And the Packers trying to move up in the NFC Central standings while the Raiders are trying to stretch their lead in the AFC West. This will be a 51-yard field goal attempt by Chris Jackie. Does he have enough on it? He got it. Jackie from long range, his second longest field goal of the season. And that puts the Packers back on the scoreboard. They still trail by a touchdown here early second quarter. 86 degrees game time temperature at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. 2 plays into the second quarter. Chris Jackie hits a 51-yard field goal to cut the Raider lead to 13-6. And the Packers certainly haven't panicked by any means, despite the fact the Raiders really have opened this thing up and have taken only a few plays to get in the end zone twice. Ron Brown and Jamie Holland are deep. This time it'll be Ron Brown at the goal line. Across the 25 to the 26 goes Brown, and that's where the Raiders go back to work offensively. Leroy Butler made the stop on the special teams. Raiders lead it by a touchdown early.
Here's the man, Art Shell. You know, you talk to all the players here at the Raiders, and they tell you that Art only requires a couple of things. It says be on time and expect to win. And that's, I think, the difference now in the philosophy of the Raiders is they come in expecting to win a football game. And that's very much like it was when Art was a player here.
Or as Bob Golick put it, he's got 2 rules: be on time, and I can't remember the other one. First down for the Raiders. They'll work from their own 25. Bo Jackson, the single setback. Bo may have moved a little bit early. Flags go down. I think Bo took a step toward the line of scrimmage before the snap. It'll be 1st and 15. They'll back it up to the 20.
And it looks like Bo's wearing some moon shades today. Cut down on that glare out there. You know, Plays in the outfield for the Chiefs.
Illegal motion, number 34 on the offense. That penalty is declined. Second down.
You see Don Mosbar, number 72. He's the center, making the calls along the line of scrimmage. He's got to talk to both sides of that offensive line to make sure that everybody gets the message. Problem was there is that Bo just decided to leave a little early.
Mosbar, they feel, having a Pro Bowl type season. Number 72.
And he's got Max Montoya right next to him, was having a great season, and Steve Wisniewski up inside as well.
Packers declined the penalty, so it's 2nd and 10. Bo Jackson. Bo got about 4. Johnny Holland got over there defensively. Bob Nelson rolls over from his nose tackle spot to help out on the tackle. Next week, big college football doubleheader for you Saturday. It'll be Texas and TCU in game 1. Dan and I will be there, and Jim and Tim will have Tennessee and Ole Miss. That one will decide who's going to the Sugar Bowl. Doubleheader. And Andrea and Mike will get it underway with college football today next week, and a big doubleheader. We hope you join us.
Well, Texas just dismantled Houston, who's ranked number 3, number 4 in the country, and it look like they've got the whip down in that conference now.
Oh, boy, I guess. 3rd and long for Jay Schrader. From the backside, down he goes, and the ball loose, and the Packers have it. Tim Harris comes up with a fumble. Sean Patterson leveled Schrader. He just didn't feel him coming from the backside.
Tim Harris displays some of his other abilities by flipping the ball up on his fingers there. We talked to him yesterday. He said he was a little upset with the fact that he felt that he hadn't been rushing the passer as much. There's the game. You saw Rory Graves turn around and spin back inside. Patterson knocks the ball loose, and Tim Harris picks up the fumble. But one of the things that's happening is he's picking up a lot of double teams, and when he run those games, that'll throw the double team off because all of a sudden he's unaccounted for when he slides in one position.
As we said, the Packers certainly have not panicked, and now they're in great shape to tie this thing up as they work offensively at the Raider 21-yard line. Haddix, the single setback, gets it on a quick draw and got back to the line of scrimmage.
The Raiders had 8 men up on the line of scrimmage, and what they're doing there is they're challenging you.
Went 70-plus yards for a touchdown. 2nd down, a long 9 for Makowski, right at the Raider 20-yard line. 2 tight ends set here. Makowski in trouble again. Got it away and completed it to Kemp. And Kemp gets it to the 14-yard line.
Pass is complete to Barry Kemp.
Talk about the athleticism of quarterbacks. Don Makowski is probably one of the best athletes playing the position of quarterback in the National Football League. And it's an unusual thing when you see a quarterback on the run like this after he gets flushed out by Howie Long to be able to whirl around, get away from Howie Long and Greg Townsend, and still get the ball off and just nail it in there to his receiver.
You know, coming in, Makowski had been sacked, as we said, 23 times, and that total's been added to by 3 today. But they figure he'd been hit 28 more times as soon as he let go of the ball. Well, there's number 29 in that category. He got pasted by Townsend.
We'll add a lot more to that today.
Big 3rd down for the Packers. Makowski overshot Fontenot by a mile.
And the reason why is, Brad, he just can't get comfortable in the pocket. Tony Manders got beat like a drum on that play by Townsend. Townsend's got exceptional outside speed. One of the things that Tony may want to do is cut off the inside. Now watch him here. He's going to take a kick step to the outside. That's Manders, number 77. He's got his hands up in good shape, but he puts his head down. And as soon as you put your head down and lean forward, a guy like Townsend's going to rip you over the top and go right to the quarterback.
Townsend, all-pro caliber player for the Raiders, forces that incompletion. Chris Jackie in to try another field goal. This one from 32 yards away, and he got this one. So Jackie's right foot keeping the Packers very much in the game. They add 3 more onto the total and trail 13-9. 12:30 to play first half. The Raiders 13-9 leaders over the Green Bay Packers. And Chris Jackie, despite the fact he's playing with a bad cold today, hasn't affected his right leg at all. His 3rd field goal has the Packers right in the thick of this one. Raiders haven't needed much offense thanks to penalties and kickoff returns, and they'll return another one. This is Ron Brown. Oh, he got leveled at about the 19-yard line. Nice job as Jerry Woods and Johnny Holland are down there on the special teams to make the hit on Ron Brown.
Ron was looking over there like, yeah, they stuck me on that one. Ron Brown is playing defensive back now here for the Raiders. He's playing cornerback, and that's an experiment, certainly. He played wide receiver for so many years with the Rams. But, again, he fits into that whole philosophy of the Raiders of overall team speed.
They've got a world-class relay team here. If you want to throw Willie Gault in there and Tim Brown and obviously Ron Brown and Bo Jackson wouldn't be a bad choice. Let's see if he can run it to the corner after saying he's got speed. He did get there and got about 4 yards and then got into a head-on collision with Tim Harris. There's the shades Bo has on, and there's Tim Harris, who would like to get a little more pressure on the opposing quarterbacks.
One of the things that he does so well, though, is on the run plays now. He's starting to defend that a lot better. Here's working against Ethan Horton, and Ethan's got a nice hole inside on him, a real hole inside on him. But this play really was successful because of Bo Jackson's exceptional outside speed. Really, that play shouldn't have made the yardage that it did.
12:04 to go first half. Raiders with a lead.
A pinched nerve down there. Watch him come in here. On the collision with Bo Jackson, you see he hits it on that shoulder, and you saw him tapping the arm. And one of the things that you get is feels like lightning's going up and down your arm, and you're trying to get that feeling back in there when you're hitting that arm like Chuck Cecil was.
Second down for the Raiders at their own 24. Bo comes the other way. First down.
Bo Jackson, the ball carrier.
Okay, the Raiders ran the same play about 3 times in a row. They just run it right, run it left. And Steve Wisniewski's getting into it with Tim Harris down there. Well, I tell you what, Tim, that's a tough group to get tangled up with.
Even had a finger pointed at one of the Raider coaches, and Archell kind of helps break that up.
You think they care?
I think I spoke too soon. They say that Bo stepped out. He may be a little bit short of the first down.
They feel that Bo has a lot more success running to the left side, and he's just a little bit more comfortable doing that. And I know when I played with the Bears, Walter Payton was always much more comfortable running to the right.
Schrader will throw on 3rd and short. And got it complete. No, Willie Gault stepped out. Got one foot in, but not the other. Jerry Holmes was covering for Green Bay.
You know, Willie Gault can run about 25 miles an hour. I guess one of the hardest things to do, I don't know, I've never ran that fast, but I guess one of the hardest things to do is control yourself when you're going at that speed. Coming out of the break, he had an opportunity there clearly to make the reception.
Out here, you can't even drive that fast.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
That was the first pass attempted by Jay Schrader, and it was incomplete. And so Jeff Gossett will kick one away. He's had a couple blocked this year. Jeff Query back deep for Green Bay. In fact, the 2 losses incurred by the Raiders, both times Gossett's had punts blocked. He got this one away. A lazy kick. Query will take the fair catch at the 31-yard line. 41-yard punt and a fair catch on the other end. And the Green Bay offense goes back on the field trailing. Back in what is not so sunny Southern California right now, but sure was at kickoff time. 11:08 to go in the half. 13-9, the Raiders with a lead. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggets with you. And the Green Bay offense, which has had more offense than the Raiders despite the scoreboard, works from its own 31-yard line. Addicts the single setback. That's Woodside in motion. Mikowski, quick slant, and too much for Sterling Sharp. He got one hand on it.
And we mentioned before, Brad, that maybe that's what the kind of rhythm passing game that the Packers wanted to try today. And that time the offensive line just simply fired out and tried to cut the legs out of the defensive line of the Raiders.
Sterling Sharp had 2 brilliant catches. Actually more than 2 catches, but 2 that were those kind that you lay out for. One for a touchdown, one on a long completion last week against the 49ers. And a 24-20 loss, and that's what the Packers are trying to rebound from here at the Coliseum today. 2nd and 10. Mikowski appeared to have changed things up at the line. It won't matter. He's got Howie Long draped all over it.
Howie Long comes in almost unmolested. Watch him here on the right side of your screen along that defensive line. Now, they tried to cut block that time up front, that Howie just read it perfectly, came around the block and made the sack.
Keith Euchre, the right guard, the guy that tried to go low, but Howie Long has seen just about all of it.
He says he's not going to take any Bob Euchres either. Show me a little respect. Don't cut my legs. Howie Long is really enjoying himself now. He's in his 10th season here with the Raiders, and he's one of the only original Oakland Raiders still left on this team since they've moved to Los Angeles.
Time of possession so misleading when you look at the scoreboard. Makowski to Sharp. And Sharp still going on the sideline. Got it to midfield. Pickup of 14. Making a pickup of 24, excuse me.
One of the things you really have to like about Sterling Sharp is he's got such good strength. At about 200 pounds, it's unusual to find a receiver with that kind of strength. Nice little explosion there off the line of scrimmage. He gets out of the hole great, and he runs after he makes the reception very nicely here. And Anderson, number 33, bench presses 520-some pounds, and he spun away from him.
Sterling Sharp has put up some big numbers early in his career. Now in his 3rd season out of South Carolina. And he gets the Packers back in Raider territory at the Los Angeles 49. They go back to Haddix inside. He's been a workhorse. And he's well over 50 yards rushing so far on the day. Sterling Sharp in his 3rd season, and after 2 years, he compares favorably with all the big names.
Yeah, and you mentioned some names. Those are some names. Steve Largent, Charlie Joyner, Art Monk.
They're the top 3 all time.
And Jerry Rice, who's a contemporary of his. Jerry's a couple years ahead of him, of course, but Sterling Sharp is right up there, and you have to believe that right now he's the 2nd best receiver in the league behind Jay Rice.
There he is, number 84, Sterling Sharp. 2nd down at 5 for the Packers at the Raider 44. Haddix again. This time not much. Off the right side, Townsend made the first hit. Haddix, who was shaken up earlier, back out there now.
I think the important thing about the drives that you see the Packers going on, though, when they take them, is that what it does when you run that football is it now it gives that line a chance to buckle up the chin strap a little bit and hit some people rather than being in a retreating position all the time and being at the mercy of the defensive line.
He has 3rd down and a long 3 as Makowski works from the gun with 4 wide receivers. This will be Green Bay's 36th offensive play. The Raiders have only 11. It's a quick slant again, and he got it to Query. 1st down, Packers. They've gone to the quick rhythm passing, Dan, and certainly has helped the cause.
And when you have a quick receiver like Query out there, you catch that quick slant, you can turn it into a touchdown. But one of the things with the Raiders is the secondary has pretty good speed.
Query may be the fastest member of the Packer team. They call him White Lightning.
He can take it the distance.
1st down to the Raider 35. So the Packers, despite the fact they found themselves down early on a couple of big plays by the Raiders, have scrapped back. They trail 13-9 on a 1st down at the Los Angeles 35. Makowski. I don't know if somebody got a hand on that. 13-9. Should be a flag there, and there is. Lionel Washington, great all over Sterling Sharp.
If I were Lionel Washington, I'd be embarrassed to run up there and argue that call. He was on him like a cheap suit.
Pass interference, number 48 on the defense. 1st down.
I think we'll see Lionel Washington try to rip the name off Sterling Sharp's jersey here.
See, he's got a good push right there, but he's beaten right now. And you see he's got the outside arm wrapped around Sterling Sharp, and that's what the call was. Nice, old pro move there, but not an all-pro move because you got caught.
So that pass interference call goes against the Raiders, as the Packers had one earlier, and it's a 1st down Green Bay, just outside the Los Angeles 27-yard line. Again, they show a 3 wide receiver type set, and penalty markers all over the place as Bob Golick came flying across the line.
We knew he always danced to his own drummer, but that's a little outrageous. You see him, he's pointing now. You see, that's important. When you jump off, you point to the other guy.
Number 79 on the defense. Still first down.
Golic, of course, started his career as a linebacker, and then he says, I went through a de-evolutionary process. You go from linebacker where you're a walking, talking, upright, thinking, two-legged individual, and now I'm a four-legged, crawling, sniveling beast.
Hey, at practice, here's a guy that wears a spiked collar at practice and let somebody put a leash on it. So
Bo Jackson came out with Golic on a leash yesterday at the Raiders walkthrough, and that got a lot of laughs from the people that are out there for Family Day every Saturday. He is one crazy nose tackle. First down at 5 now for Mikowski. It looks again as though he changes it up at the line of scrimmage. Maddox got blasted behind the line. Long is there, so's Jerry Robinson. And Golic, the man we just talked about.
Brad earlier talked about how the Raider defensive line likes to penetrate. Watch Bob Golic, number 79. See, you knock off a couple of those offensive linemen off their blocks. Howie Long slams Euchre back up into the backfield. That disrupts the whole play right there. You get that big push up front. Those guys don't necessarily care where they go. They just want to get the penetration and disturb the flow of the play.
Golic says playing nose tackle, he says it's like being a fire hydrant at a dog show. You got to draw some attention in there. He got double teamed that time and still helped out on the tackle. Second down is 6, Green Bay. Blitz coming. And again, Howie Long and Golic in company. Drop Maddox for a loss. Scott Davis is there too.
Well, you know, they're talking a little trash up there now. They got some guys that can fill it up too. Townsend's in there along with Golic.
Boy, Leslie did a piece on smash mouth football on the NFL today. It's trash mouth football out there right now, I think, for the Raiders and the Packers.
Well, you know, you look at somebody like Golic, he's really a combination of a Lyle Alzado who used to play here with the Raiders and a lot of those crazies that they had up there in that defensive line, but he plays under control very much.
Mikowski from the gun. 50% on the day. He's got a 4 wide out group on 3rd and long. Got a safety valve in Fontenot if he can get to the stick, and I think he did. First down, Green Bay at the 16-yard line. Again, Fontenot's specialty is only to score, but to take the lead for the first time today. Again, in the Raider red zone inside the 20. Mikowski got it delivered. It's going to be close to another first down to Sterling Sharp. They may have to take a look at this one just outside the 5-yard line. The Packers may be hoping that this isn't a first down, but I think it is. They're moving the sticks. 3rd catch for Sterling Sharp.
Now let's watch the protection that Mikowski has afforded on this opportunity. Good protection up inside by Keith Euchre. He keeps Howie Long out of there. You see how Mikowski's able to step up in there, throw the football, and follow through on the pass, and that's the key for him right now.
2 tight ends set, West and Harris. The Packers love to throw to the tight end in this situation down close. It is 1st and goal at the 5. Play fake. Mikowski goes back, and this is Workman, touchdown. Vince Workman and a touchdown, Green Bay, and the Packers in front. And it's good. And suddenly Green Bay has come back to lead by 3 with 4:22 to play in the half. We said they love to throw that play where they show the motion one way and come back to the tight end, or in this case the running back, and it paid off for the Packers. Jackie kicks it away to Ron Brown at the 6. Boy, is he upended, and a penalty marker as Harris, the guy we just talked about, the backup tight end, maybe an illegal block on top of that big collision.
Jackie Harris had a head of steam coming down, and one of the only ways to block a man when he's coming down that fast is you try to push him past your receiver, and that time they got him.
Illegal block during the run back. Number 42 on the receivers. First down at 10.
So you're going to try to get him out of the way, but if he's going that fast, you can just get your hands on him. You're lucky to do that, and right there is where the penalty took place.
Vance Mueller picks up the penalty. 16-13 Green Bay. I think Greg Townsend and Scott Davis have the same barber, but I'm not sure.
See, Scott is over there trying to get some clean air. There's very little clean air out here in Los Angeles. So he's going to get some of this manufactured in a bottle.
We have a little bit of a haze now over the stadium, and haze is settled in on the Raider offense. This is their worst field position of the day, following the penalty on Vance Mueller on the kickoff. Backing the Raiders up inside their own 10, and Jay Schrader will have his own goal line behind him here should he choose to pass. He'll keep it on the ground. Smith, the fullback, out across the 12-yard line. Reminder for you, next Sunday is another doubleheader day of NFL problems, too. That'll be interesting. Next week, NFL doubleheader right here on CBS. Here comes a blitz. Oh, Jackson gets out near the 15-yard line. Bob Nelson, the nose tackle, the first man there.
This is a very interesting matchup from the standpoint of strength against strength. The Raiders are trying to run up into the inside of that Packer defense, and that's really their strength up inside. The two gappers up there, and then those inside linebackers. And so Matt Brock going off the field for the Packers, and Bob Nelson, 79.
Third down situation for Jay Schrader. 3 wide receiver set with Marcus Allen split out as a wideout. Schrader got it to Ethan Horton, his tight end, with a first down to the 22-yard line. Jerry Holmes stopped him there. Ethan Horton's an interesting story, too. A former #1 draft choice by the Kansas City Chiefs as a running back out of North Carolina.
One of the things about the Raiders that they're always willing to do is if they think that somebody can fit in at a different position, somewhere totally different from where they came in at, they will certainly give you that opportunity. And we talked about Ron Brown earlier, switching over to the secondary from the receiver position.
And Horton's really taken to that tight end position, especially just the last 3 or 4 weeks. Jay Schrader says he's been an immense help. First down for the Raiders, and Schrader to throw again. Wide opens Jackson. And both will be close to another first down. Scott Stephen, the linebacker, made the stop. And they'll put it down at the 33-yard line. So they'll move the sticks again, and we're down to the 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning, Green Bay leading the Raiders by a field goal.
The Raiders by a score of 16-13, but the Raiders are on the move, and this is the reason why. Watch Jay Schrader as he's in the pocket. He's able to step up. He gets good protection. He can step up, step forward, and deliver the football to Bo Jackson. That's the difference between a quarterback throwing under duress and being able to look downfield and pick out his receivers.
Jager warming up on the sideline, hoping the Raiders give him a chance to tie it before halftime. Schrader again with time. And again finds his man, Mervin Fernandez. Got it near the 50, then got leveled by Chuck Cecil, who's back in there.
Oh, boy, but did he get a block from Ethan Horton, number 88? A real key block downfield. Now watch Noble. Keep your eye on Brian Noble, number 91. As he goes back into coverage, he's going to turn around and chase on the play. He thinks he's got his sights set on Mervin Fernandez. But right there, that's when he gets the shot from Ethan Horton.
Raiders go without a huddle as Schrader calls it at the line at the 48. First down for Los Angeles. They trail 16-13. Schrader getting some pressure this time and escapes on the roll. And now he'll take it out of bounds. Got 2 or 3 and stepped out. It'll be 2nd and 7. 1:13 to go in the half. The Raiders scored early in this ball game. Jager would like another chance too because he missed an extra point after the second touchdown. Schrader all day. Maybe too much time. Finally got it to his tight end Horton. And this will be a Raider first down at the 41.
You'd hate to think that maybe the Packers defense is trying to run out the clock on the play.
1:03 to go in the half. That offensive line has given Jay Schrader tremendous time, Dan.
Yeah, you know, the last pass play, I think he had about 4 or 5 seconds on the play just to sit back there and review things. And they're double teaming Tim Harris, and that's taking him out of the mix in terms of the pass rush. But watch how much time Jay Schrader has. And as you see our clock running now, he said he needed about 2.5 to 3 seconds to find his receivers downfield, and he's gotten way more than that.
Schrader 4 out of 5 on the day for 41 yards, and he's perfect 4 for 4 on this drive, as the Raiders hope to tie it or take the lead before they head to the locker room. They're down 16-13. Broadway inside to about the 37-yard line. Bo Jackson before Brian Noble can stop him. And again, the Raiders will line it up at the line of scrimmage. See the clock there in the corner of your screen.
Jay Schroeder crediting Mike White, his quarterback coach, with his development this year, and he's coming a long way.
Steps up, throws across the middle short, and Fernandez forgot to take it with him.
He's contacted me to this point.
And of course, the Colts won today over New England. That'll help the entire situation. It always does. Third down and long. Complete. Tim Brown inside the 25 to the 23. Jerry Holmes there to help on the stop. Pick up a 14 and a little fight going on. Mark Murphy, the strong safety, mixing it up with Tim Brown. And the Raiders take a timeout to stop the clock. 28 seconds to go till. Schroeder had a run for his life that time as he got some pressure from Green Bay's defense and used 7 seconds and tiptoed out of bounds. 21 seconds left now, but he didn't have to use the final timeout. That's the good news. So the Raiders can regroup, trailing by 3 here with 21 ticks left before halftime.
Matt Brock, number 62, really gets after Jay Schroeder. He bounced inside. Don Mosbar tried to chase him out, but no good. I'm sure Matt Brock is going, hey, I didn't know those quarterbacks could run that fast.
Second down for the Raiders at the Green Bay 23. 21 seconds to go till intermission and one timeout left for the Raiders. They trail 16-13. Schroeder to Tim Brown again. Brown, nice move inside the 10. He's to the 7. The Raiders will use their final timeout with 9 seconds to go.
Just taking their time and letting Tim Brown develop a route up underneath. You see the secondary bouncing back off of there. Brown just comes back up underneath of the linebackers. Good little move there to shake a couple of tacklers or would-be tacklers, and he gets down.
Probably one chance to go to the end zone, and then would have to settle for the field goal. Marcus Allen, the single setback. Tim Brown in motion. Schroeder to the end zone. Willie Gault thought he was interfered with. No call. And we've got 4 seconds left.
And Jay Schroeder is going all the way over to the corner of the end zone to argue his point with the side judge. He'll take it up with anybody that'll listen to him.
So Jeff Jagger in to try to tie the game. Here's numbers on the season. This will be a 24-yard attempt. This would help to make up for the extra point he had blocked earlier. To try to tie it at halftime. And he does. We're in a dead heat at intermission. That's the end of the first half. The score, the Green Bay Packers 16, the Los Angeles Raiders 16. And welcome back to the Coliseum, everybody. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggetts. Dan,
after his voting accident this past offseason, he got a kick out of that one, I think, as well. At least I hope he did.
He got his vote in the only spot in the bay there at Green Bay where it wasn't 2 feet deep. Had a heck of a time getting him out of there. Ron Brown at the 1. And look out if he gets outside. And a good tackle because there was nobody home on the far side. Burnell Dent got down there and got a hand on Ron Brown to bring him down.
Jay Schroeder's numbers in 89 as compared to 90, and you see the improvement in terms of the completion percentage. And look at the interceptions. That's the real key. The Raiders are not turning the ball over, and if you don't turn the ball over, you win in this league as a general rule.
We asked Schroeder what the biggest difference was between, let's say, his Redskin career or last year and this season. He says it's mental maturity. I really know what it takes. I know I'm not the whole guy, and I don't have to do it myself.
Yeah, he's not the guy that has to win the game. Right. He's a complementary to the offense.
Play fake. Schroeder with all day to throw again. Deep middle, and it's intercepted. Johnny Holland, the linebacker. And he's still on his feet and works his way inside the 15, and Holland to the 10. What a run by the linebacker. So much for the mental maturity. Schroeder knows he threw a bad ball there.
It seems like it never fails when you mention turnovers and a lack of turnovers by a quarterback. Right away they come back and throw one. Now, he's got plenty of time to step up in the pocket and deliver the ball, but he really throws us into double coverage, and It looks like he underthrows it by about 5 or 6 yards. He's trying to go to Mervin Fernandez. Fernandez tried to break back in there, but Noble and Holland were both in position to make the interception. Holland makes a nice little run here, too, and watch the way he finishes it off. He gets about an extra 5 yards on the finish.
I didn't think he was going to finish until he got to the end zone when he finally kept high-stepping it down to the 9-yard line, 1st and goal. Second man through and back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it for Woodside as Townsend was there, number 93. So this is the kind of shock that the Packers defense went through with the Raiders in the first quarter when they scored so quickly. And now let's see if the Raiders defense can shut down Green Bay down at the 10.
Johnny Holland, maybe one of the faster linebackers in the National Football League out of Texas A&M. One of those Aggies.
Led the Packers in tackles last week in the 4-point loss to the world champion 49ers, and a big play today. Second down and goal. The 5.
You know, many people probably aren't familiar with the Pack this year and how well they're playing, but when you look at...
Lindy Infante says they don't call me that when they're 3 and 5 anymore. But he's a heck of a coach, and this quarterback who held out is starting to get back in the groove he had a year ago. Here's what Green Bay does inside the 20. They've got 3rd and goal here. 4 wideouts from the shotgun for the Magic Man. Sterling Sharp, he overshot it. Double coverage on Sharp. Terry McDaniel and Lionel Washington, and Sterling Sharp said somebody got a hand on my back, but no call, and it's 4th down.
Well, he's going to get some respect from the secondary of the Raiders, and right there, he explodes off the line of scrimmage. That's one of the things he does so well, is just getting off the line of scrimmage. He's trying to call for the pass interference there, but he wasn't going to get that one.
No, Lionel Washington just got a hand on the jersey, no big thing. And Jackie,
it's not Christmas.
It's not Christmas. You're not going to get a gift like that. Jackie's been perfect today. This one from 22 yards out. And he's got it. So Green Bay capitalizes on Johnny Holland's interception return. They get only 3, and they lead by 3. 57 to go, 3rd quarter here at the Coliseum, where the Packers have regained the lead thanks to another field goal by Chris Jackie, his 4th of the day.
Johnny Holland's getting a little stitch work done there on the side. Knit 1, purl 2. You know, they usually carry an extra set of jerseys in the trunk.
Might be on a second one already, who knows. Jackie just blasted this kickoff. Ron Brown is going to bring it out from about 7 and 8 yards deep. And he might pay the price for doing so. Flags are down, and Brown goes down at the 13-yard line.
That was a bad decision on Ron Brown's part. I know he's got a lot of speed. He was way too deep in the end zone, though, for that play. And add that to the flag, and they might really be in tough shape.
It is holding on the Raiders.
Watch Brown now. He's at least 5-6 yards deep in the end zone. You really do have to be magic and have a blazing speed to bring it out of there and expect to make anything out of it. The problem was his blocking broke down the front because they did not believe he was going to come out.
So with the illegal block, Jay Schrader will have to gear up his offense with the Raiders at their own 6. Raiders' last throw, an interception into double coverage. And this time, Bo Jackson, the tailback in the eye, will be set in the Raider end zone. Off the left side, maybe back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. Robert Brown, the right defensive end, made the stop.
Right, let's go back to that interception that set up the field goal. Watch here, the inside linebackers, Holland and Noble. They're going to drop back in their zones. Fernandez is coming across from the side, and the ball is simply underthrown. And I said earlier that either one of the linebackers had an opportunity to make the interception. Now, watch Noble right in the middle of your screen. He sets up. Holland steals it from him and picks it up and takes it down.
Willie Gault and Mervin Fernandez, the wideouts. Dual backs behind Schrader on 2nd and 10 in his own end zone. Zips it out to Bo Jackson. And Bo's got the first down. Jackson out to the 20-yard line. Let's get an update on the Giants and the Rams. We go to New York and Greg Gumbel. Greg, run by the rookie out of Georgia.
Well, we had to go 3,000 miles to go back 30 miles south of here.
First down for the Raiders after Bo Jackson's catch. Bo lost the handle, got it back. And he's buried right at the line of scrimmage. Mark Murphy came up from the secondary.
Brad, the interesting thing here is in the second half we've seen no Marcus Allen. after him scoring 2 touchdowns in the first half, it's been pretty much Bo. Bo just luckily got the handle. Luckily for him, he got the handle on this one late. But he looks like he's out there maybe in right field, and he's real fortunate because Mark Murphy came up and almost took it from him or took his head off. But there's Marcus Allen on the sideline.
Marcus with 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. We haven't seen him really since, other than in some passing sets. Split out as a wide receiver. Rader on 2nd and 10. Gets some pressure. Sidearms it out to Ethan Horton. A pickup of a couple. That's all. It'll be 3rd down, about 8. Johnny Holland, the linebacker, there again.
Whenever you watch this Raider offense, you always have the feeling that they're about to do something big, something that, that changes the course of the game because they have so many tools in their specialists. You always have the feeling that they're either going to go downfield on you, somebody's going to break a long one.
Al Davis tells us before the game, even if we don't go deep, we want to give the impression we can at any time.
The impression comes in 4.4 speed.
It does. 3rd down for Schrader. Of Horton. Mark Lee put a shot on Ethan Horton, who was trying to make his 4th catch of the day. I don't believe it would have been a 1st down had he caught it anyway.
But that will go in Mark Lee's highlight film. That's a stick. That's when you go back over to the spot.
Jeff Query, with all that speed for the Packers, is back deep, 4th in the league. His punt return average. Not the greatest of punts to the far side, but it takes a great Raider bounce all the way to the 25-yard line. A 52-yard kick with a roll.
Gone in and gotten to 7 points, but they had to settle for field goals. You saw the field position they had was excellent, and that may come back to haunt them later on.
Murkowski to throw on 1st down. Deep sideline, it's intercepted. Lyle Washington picks it off. A skirmish after the play, but the play was made downfield by number 48.
The key for Lyle Washington was good tight coverage, and watch him come out of the break. He's come out of his back pedal and explode to the football. Now he's got his back turned right now. Watch him plant here and just accelerate to the football. Of course, it was thrown right to him as well, and that kind of helps you make the interception.
You know, that was much the same play that Sterling Sharp got a good gainer on Washington earlier in the game because he got a little bit turned around. That time he hung in with it, got the pick, and it's 1st down Raiders at the Green Bay 39. Bo Jackson split out as a receiver out there to the top of your screen, and Marcus Allen now is below in setback. Marcus Allen. Flags down, a nice run, a pickup of close to 8, but let's see if we have a holding penalty.
Yeah, on the sweep, that's no doubt what it is. And, the game will be played in Memphis.
That's our doubleheader next week. College football right here on CBS. Schrader wants to throw a screen, I think, and it never developed. Bo Jackson saying he was held, that he couldn't get out there to try to get the ball.
Well, I tell you one thing, they didn't hold Tim Harris that time because as fast as Jay Schrader was retreating, Tim Harris was coming about twice as fast.
Tim Harris with pressure on the quarterback.
You know, he was discussing with us how he was disappointed in terms of his ability to rush, drop back sometimes.
2nd down for Schrader. Deep drop. Here comes the pressure again. Sean Patterson, his 2nd of the day. The Raiders are going the wrong way after the interception, that's for sure.
They're running some games up there on that defensive line for the Packers. Now watch up inside. Don Mosbar sets up with Max Montoya. Now there's a loop coming around the other side, and he beats the tackle, and that's Bruce Wilkerson, 68 on the game.
Sacks starting to even off. And Green Bay has pushed the Raiders way back in their own territory to the 44-yard line, where it's 3rd down and 27. Marcus Allen, single set back, 3 wideouts for Schrader. And what a grab by Hernandez. Irvin Fernandez, what a catch he made. He got 2 chances at it, touched it once, pulled it in, and then picked up good yardage.
So it was so nice he caught it twice. Irvin Fernandez on the comeback at about 18 yards. And watch him work back, and now watch the ball hop in once right there. Now he catches it the second time, and then he's able to run with it after he makes the reception.
Just great concentration by Fernandez in his 4th year out of San Jose State, a former star in the Canadian Football League. And last year over 1,000 yards receiving for the Raiders. Jeff Gossett to punt. He's got a good arm. He was drafted in Major League Baseball. I don't know if they fake a punt here in this situation. They've got 4th down at about 7. He's going to kick it. And just tries to not get inside the 20 on the far side and did a nice job of it. Down to the 9-yard line. 28-yard kick and out of bounds right about where he wanted it with 7:18 to go, 3rd quarter. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggets at the Coliseum in Los Angeles with 7:18 to go in the 3rd quarter, and it is 19-16, Green Bay with the lead. And they find themselves in a bit of a predicament here, working from their own 9-yard line. Fans trying to get into it for the Raider defense. Haddix, maybe 2 yards if he's lucky. Tom Benson, the outside linebacker, made the hit. Haddix has been basically the ground game for the Packers. 60 yards on 15 carries today.
Now's a situation, this is a critical time in the game where either the Raiders make a statement or Green Bay makes a statement by driving it down and burning up the clock. But right now is a critical time for somebody to stand up and be counted and take the game away from the other team.
As Art Shell looks on, hoping his defense can hold Green Bay. 2nd down and 8. Harris, the tight end, in motion. Mikowski buys himself some time and completes it to the 24-yard line. And that is Harris, the man who went in motion. Found himself a little soft spot over there to pick up a 14.
We always talk to offensive coaches about, the run pass mix, and Green Bay's Lindy Infante said that he wants a 60-40 mix. And one of the things he want out of that 40% of the passing game is have your quarterback be able to deliver the ball downfield unmolested. And that time you saw Mikowski had an opportunity to get outside and get it downfield to Harris.
Haddix has done just enough today as the rusher, number 35, to help the play action of Mikowski. Haddix in there, single setback again. 1st down, Green Bay. Mikowski is tipped. Townsend got a big hand in the way. He's in his 8th year out of TCU. We talked about TCU and Texas, one of our games next week.
That was a nice segue, by the way, Brad. What happened up inside is, now on the other side, you've got Tony Managers working against Howie Long. He does a nice job settling down in there very nicely. Now, on the other side, Alan Weingrad is working against Townsend. And Weingrad was in excellent position, but Townsend got off and jumped up to slap the ball down. Now, what you want to be is close enough where you can stick him in the stomach and make him drop those arms.
2nd down and 10, Green Bay at its own 25. Green Bay sweep with Darrell Thompson. He took a big shot at the 30-yard line, and it will bring up 3rd down and 5. Eddie Anderson. He is the guy in the secondary that will take your head off if you give him a chance. Big hit on the rookie, Darrell Thompson.
Brad, something interesting happened on that play. The guard and the tackle over here on this side. Now watch this situation here. They're going to do a little combination block over in that side. Now watch them slip off the man so they can try to pick up Ricky Ellison, the linebacker, number 50. That's just a beautiful thing when it happens right up front. You cut down those linebackers and then that gets you back outside, and he's able to run at least 5 or 6 yards before he gets tackled.
Mikowski will work from the gun on 3rd down and 5 with 4 wide receivers. Kemp and Query in there, along with Sterling Sharp and Weathers, and Mikowski with a bad snap, flags all over, and Mikowski goes down again. Tom Benson and Jerry Robinson, the 2 outside linebackers, both came storming in there from the outside. Might have a holding call on top of everything else.
Illegal use of the hands. Number 63 on the offense. That penalty is declined.
Before the day's over, Tim Brown back in punt return formation. High spiral. Brown will take it to 38 and goes down right there. And it's Charles Wilson, the rookie wide receiver on the special teams, who made the hit. 4:50 to go, third quarter. Green Bay by a field goal.
He fell on hard times because we were concentrating on the moves and all the rest of that. He said, no, it's just a lack of players in bad coaching situations that caused the demise of the Raiders through the mid to late 80s.
They certainly seem to be back on the right track now under Art Shell. Trailing by 3, handoff to Mr. Raider, Marcus Allen, who played with Art Shell in his rookie season. So he says he knows the man, and he says the man knows us. He was there 15 years, and he's in the Hall of Fame. He says he knows all about players. And I don't think you'll ever run into a team that speaks in more glowing terms of their head coach than this group.
And they said, and Art says about the players, he says, as having been a player, I know which buttons to push to get different guys to do what we need them to do. And I think there's a good understanding, a good working relationship on this team.
Second down along 8 for the Raiders. Here's the pitch to Marcus Allen. Flag down. I think we're going to have a holding call, maybe, on Steve Smith, the fullback, who was trying to lead the way. That's the general direction.
He's going at it with Brian Noble on the sideline, and Steve Smith had a hold of a couple of guys down there. Get a 2-for-1 thing going.
Special out here today. There's a call. Go against the Raiders. Steve Smith, 4th year out of Penn State, fullback, who is one of the less heralded offensive members of this team.
Holding during the run. Number 35 on the offense. Still second down.
You know how that commercial says, never let them see you sweat? Well, never admit to the penalty.
The Bears keep rolling along in the Central Division, and the Packers try to move into the picture as far as the playoffs, because as Lindy Infante said, we mentioned earlier, somebody that had only 3 wins coming into today will be in the playoffs when they start, and the Packers are hoping it's them. Schrader on 2nd and long. Wants a bunch. Tipped. Willie Gault was open, and what a play by Brian Noble, the linebacker.
Frankly, I'm a little surprised that the Raiders haven't gone downfield a little bit more. And Chuck Cecil told us that with this offense the Raiders have, the free safety has to play a lot of that middle. Now you see Brian Noble here, number 91, getting out in his zone, just jumping up there, getting elevated and tipping the ball out. He'll watch this tape and go, I didn't know I could jump that high.
I don't think there's any doubt that would have been a first down. Gault was just standing there waiting for it on the Green Bay side of the 50, which would have been good enough for the first down. As it is, 3rd down and 18. Schrader is going deep now. Gault's out there, and it's almost intercepted. Leroy Butler, the rookie out of Florida State.
Fred, when we watched Jay Schrader the other day at practice, he stands flat-footed and throws the ball 70 yards. This situation, he's got Willie Gault running wide open down the field, and he underthrows him. I know he can throw the football further than that. The question is, why does he underthrow him when he's breaking away on the thing? And watch, Gault has to slow up here and try to work himself back to the ball. And really, if the ball's out there another 2 or 3 yards, he's gone.
It's almost the exact play that Jerry Holmes had the interference call in the first quarter. It was a big gainer for the Raiders. That time, Jay didn't get it out there quite far enough again. And so Gossett will kick and query back for the Packers. Gossett just got this one away. This time it takes a Packer bounce, and Green Bay is going to be in great shape at their own 42-yard line. Only a 27-yard punt. 3:27 to go, third quarter. Green Bay with a 3-point lead and the football.
I draw on my telestrator, I can tell you that much.
Maybe you can get a few pointers after the game, huh? Green Bay first down with a 19-16 lead. Maddox leaps up in the middle there to get a couple.
Golick told us, Bob Golick told us he's trying to get him committed last week out on the field.
As you saw, the Packers have mixed it up beautifully. They've evened up the run and the pass today. They appear to be in a passing situation here, but that's not the case. It's Haddix on the sweep, and he's got the first down. Tough run by Michael Haddix, who's having a big day. Tackle made by Terry McDaniel over on the corner.
We have been keeping an eye on Tony Manders. Now watch him. He'll be over on the left side of your screen, number 77, this time on the pull. And what does the big guy do downfield? He gets one of those little defensive backs down there. Come on, roll him up, Tony. He did enough to get his man out of the way. What he wants to do is stand up there and run over that guy, though. Tony's very capable of running over someone.
Mandridge at about 298. He can get in the way, that's for sure. First down at the Raider 47. Draw play this time, and that one stopped. Loss on the play. Greg Townsend has had a remarkable afternoon from his defensive end spot.
He's had a remarkable career, Brad. He's really come a long, long way from a personal standpoint as well as a playing standpoint. He's gone through a lot of problems and off-the-field types of problems, and he's a kid from Compton, California. He told me last year, he said, you know, he got involved in some drugs and things like that and got himself squared away finally. He said, I really felt himself squared away, and he's making $1 million a year. That's the good news for him.
Second down and 12. Mikowski running out of time, and down he goes again. Townsend is there again along with Golick. Townsend held out for a new contract, got that $1 million. He says, now I'm in the same neighborhood. I can go over to Howie Long's and borrow a cup of sugar.
Yeah, it's a nice neighborhood to be in. Now watch him working against Tony Mandridge outside. Tony looks like he's in pretty good shape here, but he gets that shoulder turn, and Greg Townsend gets underneath your shoulder, and he'll work himself right to the quarterback, lifting you up as he goes to the quarterback.
Also has the longest current string of straight games for the Raiders. This is his 51st in a row.
You know, it was interesting talking to Bob Golick. He had a beeper on, and you asked him why he had the beeper on. You want to finish the story?
In a minute. Third down conversions for Green Bay. Third down and a big 19 conversion-wise here. Mikowski for Kemp, and he's got it. First down, Green Bay, down to the 28-yard line of the Raiders. That's what Mikowski can do so well. A pickup of 28 on third and a mile, and they got the mile.
Huge play there by Magic, and he's really the guy that's responsible for it because he knows he's in a little trouble right now. He's just going to step up, get away from the rush, dance around in there a little bit, and do what it takes to get it downfield. And he throws that one off of one leg, hopping up in the air on the rope. Kemp makes a nice reception over in the sideline.
Kemp fumbled a reception last week in the late stages of what looked like a possible come-from-behind win over the world champion 49ers. Packers had a drive going, and he coughed one up. He just got a big grab there and held on to it. First down, Packers. What a hit that is. Darrell Thompson gets it leveled, and it was Alex Gordon, who the Raiders just acquired recently, who made the big stop, and that's going to be the final stop of quarter number 3.
Gordon was the #1 choice of the Jets, and I can't believe they let him go like that.
End of the third quarter with a score, Green Bay 19. Green Bay Packers heading into the fourth quarter by a field goal, and Green Bay's worked it to the Raider 28-yard line. Second down, 11. Mikowski's done just enough today to keep his Packers in front. Darrell Thompson, single setback, play fake to Thompson. Mikowski throws for Kemp. Touchdown. And he does just enough to get them further in front. 28-yard scoring toss. Mikowski to Kemp.
You know, it's always a question when you start believing, when you start buying back into the play for the touch.
That's a perfect throw. Kemp's first touchdown of the year, the extra point by Jackie up and good, and now Green Bay has a 10-point lead.
Always a question as to whether or not the receiver gets both feet in. Watch Perry Kemp on this one. He knows he's got to get both of them in. He makes the reception, 1, 2, both of them in the end zone, and then he gets pushed out.
Perry Kemp, who today has moved past Donnie Anderson into the number 20 spot in the Packer receiving charts career-wise. And so many people were brought in by the Packers as draft choices, Plan B free agents, all to try to beat out number 81 and try to get a little more speed on the other side from Sterling Sharp. And this kid just keeps fighting him off, and he's still in there, and he gets a big touchdown catch.
About not giving up on yourself and staying after it, even when others may doubt you. Perry Kemp is a pretty good example of that.
There's the battery. Mikowski to 81. Kemp.
You think back, you mentioned last week, Brad, where he...
Jackie to kick. Holland and Ron Brown. The deep duel for the Raiders. It'll be Ron Brown at the 3. And again, he got across the 20 and not much more, as the Packers were there to meet him with the special teams.
Rush the ball for 100 yards at least and average over 4.1 yards per carry.
The kick is offside, number 50. That penalty is declined. First down.
The Raiders turn down the penalty and take it at the 25-yard line. There's Haddix with the 69 yards on the ground. So now Jay Schrader finds himself 10 down, and he's got all that speed and the likes of Willie Gault and Bo Jackson and Mervin Fernandez. And let's see what the Raiders can do. Bo Jackson. Tim Harris runs him down from behind. Pickup of maybe 3 for Bo.
I talked to Tim Harris before the game, and he was out on the field with his sunglasses on. He said
around 80, 78 degrees is about what the... There's your 78 over in the Coliseum thermometer. Second down and 8. Orlando's in motion. Schrader over the middle. And Mervin's going to get a first down out of it.
Cecil over there in that sideline.
Right here, the fourth quarter, trailing by 10. Jackson got it to the 39-yard line. Pickup of a couple, maybe 3.
You know what's interesting, Brad, is Chuck Cecil really hasn't been in on as much action a run.
That's what he said. I'm going to line up in a track stance with my back to the line of scrimmage to chase these wide receivers. It's the only way I can stay with them. Blitz coming on Schrader. Flags down. Wide open in the middle is Gault. Inside the Packer 40 to the 39, but again a flag down. And the Raiders say it's against Green Bay, and it is. 23-yard pickup is good for Willie Gault.
Onside. 96 on the defense. That penalty is declined. First down.
Sean Patterson, who's got a couple of sacks today.
Let's check in with the big guys up front, the people that sweat for a living. That offensive line gives Jay Schrader a lot of time to find Willie Gault downfield, and that's a dangerous combination if that goes on too long.
You're still sweating for a living, and we keep doing these games on the West Coast.
I'll take it, believe me.
First down for the Raiders at the Green Bay 39. Schrader got it out quickly to Jackson. Flags are down again as Bo gets almost 10. I think somebody in the backfield came out of their stance. Steve Smith may have fallen forward out of his three-point stance.
Yeah, he's got that definite dejected look. Watch the movement in the backfield. We believe that's where it came. There's that little move.
Illegal motion, number 35 on the offense. Still first down.
Actually, he didn't come out of his three-point stance. He fell into one. Make it 26-16, rather, Green Bay. 12:22 and the clock running, fourth quarter. Up by 10, and they're hoping to move up in the Central Division, where Tampa Bay has lost today. Minnesota, a winner. Green Bay can move into tie for second place if they can win today. Actually, they'll be a half game ahead of Tampa Bay because Tampa's got 6 losses. Marcus Allen cuts back to the 41. He got 2, make it 3. It'll be second down and 7.
He's ever jumped in his life.
Second down at 12. Jay Schrader will have to throw on the run again. And the pressure came from Matt Brock.
Matt Brock, he's originally from San Diego. Here's a guy that plays defensive end, and he told us he was a surfer when he was growing up. Well, that time he caught the wave and got in on Jay Schrader.
We said, how did you ever stay up on a surfboard? You weigh at 12. Raiders have to have this one. They'll send a trio of receivers out to the top of your screen. Jay wants to load up and go deep. Now trying to find a receiver and almost had it intercepted. Gary Holmes had it carry him off his shoulder pads, intended for Tim Brown. And the first chorus of boos today. Jeff Gossett in for the punt. Jeff Query back at the 10 for Green Bay. He dropped one at the 9-yard line. The last time it was in this circumstance, and this time he goes for the far side. Let's see if he gets the corner. Oh boy. Made it in the end zone by about the length of the football. Just that close to be burying the Packers. Instead, they'll have it at the 20.
I think that's really been the secret. They've been able to go to the multiple sets and put the ball in different people's hands.
Now they're going to load it up with the extra tight ends. Thompson, a single setback. Sterling Sharp, the only wide receiver, up there to the top of your screen.
Actually an unbalanced situation now.
They're loaded up to the right side. Here they come to the right side. And a loss on the play. Golick in on the stop on Daryl Thompson.
Bob Golick on the stop. We were talking about Golick before with the beat.
You're playing in here in the middle. He is a piece of work. He made the last tackle and loss on the play for Thompson. Second down, 11, Green Bay. Mikowski delivers it complete. Short gain out to the 24-yard line. Ed West, his tight end, made the catch. No, make it Sterling Sharp. Sterling Sharp with a grab.
Use any kind of deodorant.
I think we got the picture.
That's not a nice environment up in there.
Third down at 5. Green Bay can ill afford to sit on this thing either. 10 points is not much with all the speed the Raiders have. They need this third down conversion from the shotgun with 4 wideouts for the Magic Man. Quick slant. Query's got it. First down, Green Bay. So the Packers will keep their drive alive at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Green Bay trying to win their 4th game. Raiders could use a turnover, that's for sure. You see them down 10 points, and Green Bay a first down. Daryl Thompson, the sweep to the left side, not much there. Got to the 34. Golick,
Fairly unusual.
of course, a stellar career for the Minnesota Gophers, and now he plays for the Minnesota Vikings' worst enemy. And he had his best game of the year against Minnesota a couple of weeks ago. Here he comes again. Flags down. This time Thompson gets some decent yardage to the 40, but a flag at the line. Mike Harden in on the stop.
We're talking to Tiger Green about him, and he said he runs a lot like Eric Dickerson, that real high knee action. Certainly he did at that time coming through.
Offside against the Raiders. And
Another touchdown on the board and sealing the game if you can.
we've worked our way under 7.5 minutes to play in the ball game. Green Bay second down at 4. Daryl Thompson again. Broke one tackle, but not the second one. Nice open field stop by Lionel Washington. And somebody's down.
Looks like Lionel Washington.
The Olympic flame not burning, and the Raiders flames only about 7 minutes away from going out too, unless they can get it back from the Green Bay Packers, who lead 26-16 here in the 4th quarter. Mikowski wide open to the 45-yard line is Clarence Weathers. And it's still, and it's going to be a first down. So Green Bay keeps their drive going, and the clock is their ally. Under 6.5 minutes to go, and Mikowski and the Green Bay Packers up by 10. Mikowski, we know his dad Fred is watching back in the Buffalo area. His dad, who had a stroke back in the summer when all the contract negotiations were going on, and they are so close, and his dad's getting better. And Fred, we're glad to hear that things are going well for you. Nice to have you watching us today.
Johnson, very special to him. Very special.
Woodside is the second man through. He got a couple. And now, Dan, the Raiders almost have to make something happen in the way of a turnover, because time is running out for the Raiders to get it back for Schrader in the offense.
And the Raiders have had their opportunities, and there have been situations where they just haven't taken advantage of it. I think sometimes when you get some quick, easy scores at the beginning of a game, it sets you back a little bit because you think everything's going to go easy that day. And that happened for the Raiders early on, and then they just didn't come back and fight to get back in the ball game when they had the opportunities.
Maybe the scores they got were too easy.
Yeah.
They got a little complacent.
Certainly the Packers have had to work for theirs. They know what it's like to roll up their sleeves.
Haddix and Thompson, the dual set as you look from behind Mikowski. Out to about the 48-yard line goes Thompson. Remember, Kansas City lost in the final play of the game against Seattle today. That gave the Raiders a little bit of a cushion, but that cushion will be the same as it was when the day started. If they lose this game, they would drop to 6-3 and still have the one-game lead.
And when you're coming down the backside of the season now is when you really want to establish yourself as a winning ball club going down the stretch.
Just under 5 minutes to play. Green Bay by 10. Here's in the driver's seat with 4:59 to play, up by 10. This time a year ago, they were 4-4. They beat San Francisco, went on to win 5 straight, and went 10-6 on the year. If they can win again on the West Coast today, maybe they can make some hay while the sun's shining here against this schedule.
And they could have a nice run at Phoenix and Tampa Bay, Minnesota, Seattle, and Philly. Those are games that they can win. They can be very competitive in those games, and Lindy Infante may be proven to be a prophet by saying that they could get into the playoffs.
This is a gigantic 3rd down, and Mikowski broke free, and he's got the 1st down. Quarterback draw, whether by design or not, a blitz was coming, and Mikowski somehow got 8.
Well, he got some decent protection, but he just couldn't find anything downfield, and then decided to take it into his own hands. But those are the kinds of plays that Don Mikowski made last year. He's finally starting to roll back into form and making them this year. Watch him squeeze out. It looks like he's trapped, and he just explodes out of there and makes the nice run. And Sterling Sharp probably couldn't be happier. Yeah, all right,
That's what I like, is my quarterback running for the 1st down. Mikowski came in leading the Packers in rushing and just helped convert their 8th 3rd down situation out of 14. There's his numbers coming in. Big quarterback draw at a 1st down, and then the Packers can go back and just try to grind it out. Loss on the play as Ricky Ellison levels Michael Haddix. But again, clock winds down to 4:02, and the Raiders have just taken their 1st time out. Green Bay by 10. In trail by 10 with 4:02 to play. Tonight on CBS, if war breaks out in the Middle East, the Pentagon has a $12 billion baby that can shoot down any attacking helicopter. Sounds good, doesn't it? But it doesn't work. $12 billion and it doesn't work. That shocking story tonight on 60 Minutes, followed by Murder, She Wrote, and the CBS Sunday night movie, Fatal Attraction, tonight on CBS. Mikowski with a hook slide at the 45.
Well, that time the Raider defense had a fatal attraction for Don Mikowski.
Glenn Close and Michael Douglas weren't even on the field, were they? So now the Raiders with a 42nd timeout here, and that's it for their timeouts. Trailing by 10 with 3:55 to go. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggets with you at the Coliseum, and the Raiders out of timeouts, Dan.
And it was apparent that Green Bay came out to Hollywood and didn't read the script. They weren't supposed to upset the Raiders in their home office. They're doing it.
3rd down at 12. Should this be an incomplete pass, that would stop the clock and help the Raiders' cause. Mikowski. Down he goes. Davis on the bottom of the pile, and Eddie Anderson came storming in on a safety blitz. And so now the Packers have to kick. Clock stopped with 3:49 to go. The Raiders will be out of timeouts, but they will get the ball back. Chicago 8 wins now after the win over Atlanta. New Orleans rolls big on Tampa Bay, and Minnesota has won their first NFC Central game with that victory.
Buffalo over Phoenix.
Boy, Buffalo's tough, huh? Jim Kelly had 4 touchdown passes today.
Miami continues to roll over the Jets in New York.
And so now Don Bracken will punt. And Tim Brown back inside his own 15-yard line. And here's a delay of game as the Packers took all the time they could. Worked it down to 3:27 to go in the game.
Back. He certainly makes it all the way.
Now following the delay of game penalty, Bracken will kick it away to Tim Brown. Brown lets it go, and out of bounds it goes at the 12-yard line. So the Raiders are 88 yards away, trailing by 10. No timeouts left, and 3:19 to play in a football game. This game presented by authority of the National Football League, and the CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Los Angeles Raiders, and the National Football League is prohibited. Art Shell has not tasted defeat here at the Coliseum since he became head coach of the Raiders. And they're going to have to turn something around in the next 3:19, or you can throw that stat away. Schrader with a 3-wide-out offense. Marcus Allen is single setback. Schrader in trouble. Got away from one. Doesn't get away from the second at the 5-yard line, and it's Tim Harris, his first sack of the day.
You know, the interesting thing there, Brad, is where was the in the grass call? You know, it really looked like Schrader was wrapped up pretty good that time by Sean Patterson. But he got the opportunity to get out of there, and there wasn't the early whistle on the play.
Fourth sack for Green Bay. I think there's been a little more leniency in the last few weeks on that in the grass thing. But in his own end zone is Schrader. And down he goes again. Sack number 5. Tim Harris, number 2. And he's got the guns blazing now.
He said he wanted to come out here and shoot his guns, you know, get a couple of sacks, shoot the guns, have a little fun.
19.5 sacks last year. Had only 4 coming in. As you can see now, has added a couple to the total.
Says he lives for the sack. You know, that's just that's the driving force in his life.
Third down at 17. Raiders running out of chances. Jay Schrader, it is intercepted. Jerry Holmes, a one-hand catch, and he brings it back the other way. Holmes, he's inside the 10. 26-yard return for Jerry Holmes, and that's about going to do it for the Raiders.
Jerry Holmes makes a nice pickup. Look at the elevation, sticks it with one hand and gets up and realizes that he hadn't been touched and got up and made a nice run after the interception. Now, the funniest thing is to watch defensive guys try to throw blocks. They have no clue how to throw blocks. Tim Harris came close to getting a clipping penalty there.
Wilkerson, the man that finally knocked him out, but Holmes has his 3rd interception of the season. Jay Schrader's had kind of a tough day, and now Green Bay with a 1st and goal, a 10-point lead. The Raiders out of timeouts and only 2:22 to go. Jerry's going to take that one home.
Yeah, that one's going to take a plane ride.
Haddix and Woodshine behind Mikowski. Maybe 2 yards for Michael. And that is going to be our final play before the 2-minute warning. Bob Golick in on the tackle. It will be a happy plane ride back to Wisconsin for the Green Bay Packers, who have Phoenix next week.
They're disappointed, though, Brad. They wanted to stay out here, stay out west, stay in the sunshine. And Lindy Infante said, no way, I'm taking you back.
26-16, Green Bay in control.
Hey, Bob, baby, Ressa, how you doing? We got him! Yes!
Mom and his little girl. His wife and his little girls will be saying hi to Tim Harris. 2 sacks today. And the head-to-head competition, the Raiders have controlled that in regular season play.
Of course, that's going to change after today's game. Packers won the Super Bowl back in '68. But finally, they get back on that win column.
Lindy said they had to get the ball to Sterling Sharp. They had to rush for 100 yards, and they'd be all right. They've got 100 yards rushing. They've got a 10-point lead to the Packers. Harold Thompson might have gotten a yard. Packers really don't care. They just don't want to cough up the football now. They want that clock to go.
You know, the only stat that Lindy Infante might be disappointed with, Brad, is he said it was important to look at the yards per rush. And right now the Packers are averaging right around 3 yards per rush, and he wanted it at 4.1, but I'm sure he won't give that up to accept the victory.
Coming in, the Raiders were 11th in the league against the rush and not allowing too many teams 100 yards, so Packers have gone over that, but not by much.
That'll work. Got 2 in the last second. That was cheap. That'll work. That was cheap.
Don't talk on that sideline about cheap shots.
I ain't happy about it because you said it wasn't
cheap
right.
sacks. That's what they're giving Tim Harris grief about.
I ain't happy about it.
If the playoffs started right now, here is how things would look. the Giants, 49ers, and Bears. A couple of unbeatens.
And keep in mind, Chicago would have to play that wild card, the second wild card game, because they, among those division winners, would have the worst record at what, 7-1, 8-1 now.
8-1, yeah.
And then the wild card teams would look like that. Washington, Philly, and Green Bay's right in there.
Green Bay will go to 4-5, so they'll be in the mix if that man can continue to play as he did today. Nice steady outing for the Magic Man, Don Majkowski. A couple of touchdown passes, a key quarterback draw in a third down situation when Green Bay had to have it.
And Green Bay's offensive line did a nice job today, I think, against a very strong Raider defensive front. They did it when they had to. Guys answered the call.
That's Mandarich and Euchre and Campen and Ard and Vinograd and all the rest. And there they are in the pit, lined up on 3rd and goal. High backfield. It's an option with Harris the tail, and Majkowski keeps it. Eddie Anderson's all over Majkowski. That was a good-looking play. Didn't get him much.
They took away a few of the options.
So now 4th down. And I think Lindy Infante would be more than happy if that 52 seconds could go by without any kind of field goal attempt or another snap. And in the AFC, here's how things look.
Miami, the Raiders, and Cincinnati. Cincinnati has the worst record of those, so they would fall down and have to play one of those wild card teams, just like the Bears would in the NFC. And Buffalo at 8-1, Kansas City, and Pittsburgh.
So even though
wild card possibilities,
even though they're about to lose today, the Raiders would still get a bye in round 1 of the playoffs. So Art Shell will go to 10-1 at the Coliseum as head coach of the Raiders. But this is a pretty good team, and this was not their day, that's for sure. It was Green Bay's, but I think they'll be right in the thick of things, don't you?
And the thing that we mentioned at the top of the game was the fact that the Raiders felt uncomfortable playing the Packers because they're not familiar with them. They don't know what they do well, and the Packers came in and showed them what they did well, and that is control the clock, and with multiple sets and getting the ball in a lot of people's hands and running it on the ground when they had to.
On the other side of things, the Raiders couldn't muster a ground game. Their rushing attack today was kind of like Los Angeles traffic, backed up and stopped. They didn't get much. 53 is all they got on the day, while they came in averaging 113.
Willie Pete over on the sideline talking to Ed West and son Rodney Pete, quarterback at Detroit.
Chris Jackie's had a perfect day on 4 kicks. 21-yard field goal is good. He's perfect on 5 kicks. He's the guy that kept them right there, and that's a new team record for the Packers. And when you consider they've had some pretty good kickers, including one named Stenerud, that's a nice thing to put in the trophy case for Jackie.
Fred, I have to tell you, when you mentioned at the top of the game,
it was a warm day. It just cooled off for Coach Infante, didn't it? Ron Brown and Jamie Holland deep. Holland brings it out of the end zone. Flags are down as he got out near the 20-yard line before Scott Steven ran him out. Just 11 seconds to go in the ball game. It's a holding call against the Raiders. It's been the kind of day they've had.
Well, for the Raiders, I think they go back, they regroup. They certainly have that kind of esprit de corps, and that's necessary to maintain what they've been able to get so far this season. And I think that they're doing things the right way, and they feel very good about the way they're going about the season. So this is a little setback, but not much of one for the Raiders. They'll just continue on.
Yep, I agree. At the 10-yard line. Don Majkowski, who played a few times in a rock band, played with the rock band Poison when they were in Wisconsin earlier this year. I don't know if he'll play his guitar about this win or not, make up a song about it, but it's a big one for Green Bay. Jay Schrader, now we're going to see some of that arm. He just lays it out. It'll be a jump ball, and it will be intercepted by Green Bay as time runs out. 29-16, the Green Bay Packers pull the upset at the Coliseum.